Hey Vibers, it's your boy Kai, and welcome to Kai Watches Gilmore Girls, where I'm documenting my first watch of the TV show Gilmore Girls. It's time for us to review Season 5, Episode 18 of the show, which is entitled To Live or Let Diorama, which originally aired on April 19th, 2005. The week that this episode was released, the #1 movie in America was Sahara, a movie starring Matthew McConaughey, Steve Zahn, and Penelope Cruz. I remember being really excited to see this movie and then being incredibly disappointed as soon as I walked out of the theater. And that's literally all I remember about it. I could not tell you a single thing about the movie. In this episode, when Stars Hollow's oldest resident dies and leaves his house to the town, Luke has an ulterior motive for volunteering to help turn the town into a temporary museum. The ghost of Dean also working on the project and offers Luke some unwelcome advice about the dangers of dating a Gilmore girl. To get publicity for the Dragonfly Inn, Lorelai does an interview with a travel magazine but immediately regrets the unkind comments she makes about being raised by Emily. Meanwhile, Lane suspects that Zach is having a fling with the music store owner, Sophie, played by none other than Carole King, while Rory and Paris are both devastated by trouble with their respective flings. Fun fact, this episode was directed by Jackson Douglas. Yeah, you know, that Jackson, he directed this episode. So where does this episode rank within Season 5? Let's find out as I recap the episode for my favorite moments, my least favorite moments, episode talking points, and of course, my episode vibe score. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for weekly videos that are aimed to make your day just a little bit better. And follow me on your favorite social media channels where I am always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. Let's take a look at Season 5, Episode 18 of Gilmore Girls. Let's start off with my favorite moments. #1, Paris sharing scenes with Lane. This rarely happens. Paris and Lane in the same scene at the same time with Rory. My old brain might be a little blurry, but I can't think of any other time up until this point that this has actually happened. And if so, please correct me. I'm sure you would correct me anyway, but just let me know if this has never happened before. Typically, we either get Lane and Rory or Paris and Rory, but not all together at the same time. So this was a pleasant surprise. The moment was short-lived, but enjoyable while it lasted. You know, like most of my relationships. #2, the museum. It's not often that I find myself actually laughing out loud while watching Gilmore Girls, but let me tell you, the scene during the museum tour with the mannequins had me dying with laughter. I'm laughing now, but I'm pretty sure those mannequins are also gonna haunt my dreams later tonight, so wish me luck. I may have watched that movie, Annabelle, way too many times. #3, Luke's dream house. Luke was pulling a whole, "do you know how I got these scars?" routine whenever somebody would ask him why he volunteered to help at the museum. Now, here's the thing. I said that sentence knowing full well that only a couple of you would understand that reference, and I stand by my decision, and I salute all of you who understood it. With that said, once we found out the truth as to why Luke was volunteering with the museum, it was adorable, it was lovely, it was heartfelt. I don't know if they'll end up getting the house, but this was a great way to introduce the idea of it into the world of shipping Luke and Lorelai living their happy life together. Okay, those were my favorite moments. What about my least favorite moments from the episode? Well, we'll start off with Debbie Downer Dean. As for my least favorite moments today, this is going to be the main one that I'm going to focus on for this episode. I'm not going to focus on any of the other things because this is kind of going to be my farewell to Dean and his run on Gilmore Girls. I'm told that this was his last appearance on Gilmore Girls, up until the revival in 2016. And boy, I don't see why they decided to do him dirty like that. Now, let the record show, I know that Jared had to get written off of the show. I totally get that. In fact, this episode aired April 2005. He had already filmed the pilot for Supernatural in January 2005, and the second episode of Supernatural began filming in July of 2005. So by this point, he was already just fully engulfed in Supernatural, so I'm going to take that off of the talking points. I just want to make sure I acknowledge that because I already know people are going to type it in and be like, he's on Supernatural. I'm like, I know. With that said, I don't know why they turned Dean into the person that we see him as in this episode. He just wasn't recognizable to me, which is why I'm calling him the ghost of Dean, because I just don't think that he actually existed in this episode outside of being in Luke's head or something. I get why people don't like Dean and why he leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, but I also partly have to blame the writing for that. I think it was a little bit sloppy. I'll be completely honest with you. I think they could have given a much better send-off to Dean as opposed to just being, hey, I'm Debbie Downer, to Luke. Someone he didn't really share that much screen time with, nor did he ever really get along with. So I'm not sure why they decided to do that other than to say, hey, Luke, you're just like me. Well, no, he's not. He's not at all. And I'm not sure why they're trying to make this happen. I mean, I get it, but it's just, really? That's the route we're gonna go? To me, it would have been better if we either saw him just like moving away or just not seen him at all after the party episode with Logan earlier in the season when he and Rory broke up at Richard and Emily's house. If we just never saw him again after that, I would have been like, oh, okay, whatever, bye. Between this and the way that Jess exited, I'm a little disappointed with how the writers say goodbye to Rory's first two loves, but that's just me. It's not about me, it's not about Jess, it's not about Dean, it's about Rory, so I guess I get it. I'm just being picky at this point. A lot of people are going to ask if I'm still Team Dean, and I'll tell you, I am. I like Dean. I always have, I always will. He was young and in love, and I know a lot of people, understandably so, do not like Dean. And that is okay. I respect your opinion. I respect the fact that he triggers a lot of things for people. I totally get that. And I just hope you know that this is me saying that I'm Team Dean is not saying that your opinion about whomever you like, whether it's Logan or Jess, is invalid. That's not true at all. I respect your opinion, and I hope that you respect mine as well. I've been a fan of Dean the whole time, and I can't wait to see what he's been up to. I know that he's going to come back for the 2016 revival at some point in some capacity, so I'm excited to see what he does from this point up until that point. He and Rory definitely would not have worked at all as they grew up and began understanding life and love, especially at their young age. But I'm going to root for him. I'm going to root for his success and his growth and the fact that he's going to, learn. He's still very, very young. He looks like a grown-ass man, but he's still very, very young at this point in the show. Okay, those are my favorite and least favorite moments from the episode. Let's talk about some talking points from the episode. This episode features a cameo from the one and only Carole King, the person who wrote and performs the opening song of the show. So I figured we'd do a quick little glance at her life. Carole King is an American singer-songwriter who has been active since 1958, initially as one of the staff songwriters at the Brill Building and later as a solo artist. She is the most successful female songwriter of the latter half of the 20th century in the United States, having written or co-written 118 pop hits on the Billboard Hot 100. King also wrote 61 hits that charted in the UK, making her the most successful female songwriter on the UK singles charts between 1962 and 2005. King's major success began in the 1960s when she and her husband, Jerry Goffin, wrote more than 24 chart hits, many of which have become standards for numerous artists. King's success as a performer in her own right did not come until the 1970s when she sang her own songs accompanying herself on the piano in a series of albums and concerts. After experiencing commercial disappointment with her debut album, Brighter, King scored her breakthrough with the album Tapestry, which topped the US album chart for 15 weeks in 1971 and remained on the charts for more than 6 years. King has made 25 solo albums, the most successful being Tapestry, which held the record for most weeks at #1 by a female artist for more than 20 years. Her record sales were estimated at more than 75 million copies worldwide. She has won 4 Grammy Awards and was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. She has been inducted twice into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a performer and a songwriter. She is the recipient of the 2013 Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song, and she is the first woman to be honored with that. She is also a 2015 Kennedy Center honoree. Carole King, I know you're not watching this, but if you are, thank you for writing the original Where You Lead with Tony Stern and rewriting it with your daughter specifically for Gilmore Girls. Where You Lead has become associated with female friendship, sisters, mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and so many other platonic yet meaningful women-centric relationships. So what did I think of this episode? Well, I give it a 7 out of 10. This was a really good episode. It had great direction by Jackson Douglas, hilarious moments that made me laugh out loud, great acting from Rory, especially at the end with her being upset about Logan, rare moments between Lane and Paris, hilarious museum moments, and Luke looking optimistically at the future despite what the ghost of Dean had to say. So there you have it, Vibers, my recap for Season 5, Episode 17 of Gilmore Girls. What did you all think of this episode? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, God bless and goodbye.